In this video, I'm going to share with you how I completely rewired my brain. With the new year coming up, I know you are wanting to just start completely over. If you're someone who sleeps in, who snoozes, but wants so badly to be a morning person, or you just keep creating these goals for yourself and you fall short, you just can't stick to the plan. I have been there so many times. So of course, that is why I'm here. And if this is our first time meeting, hello, my name is Krizia. I'm on a mission to helping you level up your life. So if that sounds like your vibe, hit the subscribe button and join the community. Let's get back to the video. Winter arc, lock-in mode. This is the time to get started. Do not wait for the new year to come around to start making changes in your life. You can just see here, this is a past version of me not that long ago. I was not properly taking care of myself. I give myself grace because I was going through so much behind the scenes that I didn't even realize. Looking back at this picture of myself, I was going through so much because it shows in my health, it shows in my body, it shows in my puffy face, and my hair was so short. And even though I cut it intentionally, I think there was a reason behind that I wasn't even aware of. That was a very tough time for me. And this is the person that I was for long enough. Things happen, life happens, but it gets to a point where you have to take responsibility and you have to make decisions to change that version of you if you are not happy with it. And I was not happy with myself during this time. I didn't even realize I had slipped into this kind of losing myself era. It's sometimes scary to think that that can happen without you realizing it, because it's like you just wake up one day and you're like, I don't like this. I don't like this version of myself and I'm going to change it. And I want that to happen for you. I decided to start this 75 hard challenge. I have been doing this challenge now for about 60 days. I haven't even completed the full 75 days yet. And I already feel like an entirely new version of myself has been unlocked. Just to lay down some of the basics, these are some of the rules that I set for myself in this 75 hard challenge. I decided to implement things and then also cut things out of my life. Fast food. I cut out alcohol. When I go to influencer events, especially, there's always this open bar. And in the beginning, it was like fun and cute. And I was like, yeah, like drink after drink, like it's free. That is not the vibes that I want for myself. So I was like, okay, let's cut out the alcohol. Let's cut out gossip. Gossip is one thing that I just don't want to tolerate in my life at this point. It has given me this ick that I can no longer undo when I am around people who love to gossip. When I hear gossip, even on the internet, all this tea and so-and-so's doing this and celebrity gossip, like I don't want part of it. I want to opt out of it. And then some of the things that I added, of course, was working out, right? At the time before I went to Japan, I was going to Pilates like maybe twice, 3 times a week. And I was like, okay, I need to just level it up. I'm not seeing the transformation that I want, but it was enough to get me started in having a routine and having some form of showing up for myself. 2024, I was doing Pilates and I fell in love with Legree. I loved it, still love it. But I was like, you know what? I am just gonna start going to the gym. And I did this for a number of reasons, because one, the gym kind of intimidates me. I've never really been the type of girl who knew what kind of workouts I wanted to do. Like I would just do random things. So it was like, it's a challenge. It really is a challenge for me. So I was like, I love being uncomfortable and trying something new and out of my comfort zone. So let me just throw myself into this, speed up the results of my physical transformation. And I just knew that it's kind of what I needed. I needed to lift heavier weights. It's a whole other subject, but that's just part of why I wanted to do it. 5 days a week of weight training and including 30 minutes of daily walking, whether that be indoors on a treadmill or outside or a mixture of both. Drink 1 liter of water per day, eat clean, full, balanced meals, a nightly routine of either prayer, journaling, reading a book, or some sort of meditation affirmation before bed. I am pretty much at the 60-day mark. Yeah, complete transformation. Which leads me to my first point, the science of habits. I really want to talk about this because there was a book that I read called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, please read it. Really great example of how you can stack your habits and basically hack your brain, hack yourself. Because what happens is we enter this loop of repeated habits that becomes harder and harder to break as time goes on and as we repeat this loop. So for example, if you're a chronic snoozer and you've been this way, let's say your entire life, it's gonna not be an overnight success to suddenly just not be a snoozer. Like, it is going to take some hacking of yourself. If you're someone who doom scrolls at night, you need to find ways to make it harder for you to do that, because you know yourself. And even if you want to say that you don't want to do it, you have to realize that habits are ingrained into your body chemistry. So it's not enough to just say, I'm not going to doom scroll tonight. Like, your body is physically wired for a certain habit. There's a physical barrier that you're going to need to overcome. You need to leave your phone in another room, in a place where it becomes inaccessible and not easy for you to just pick up your phone. If it's right next to your bed, if it's on your bedstand or under your pillow, what do you think is going to happen? Like, your body's going to be like fiending for this basically, and it's going to just result in you breaking this promise to yourself, and it's just going to repeat the cycle as we're going to repeat the loop. So make your bad habits harder to do, and you need to find ways to make it easier to choose better decisions. So like, another example is, I've been working out every day, but I know that as it's gotten colder, as it's getting rainy, I am not gonna want to go to the gym early in the morning. So what do? I can help myself remove some decision fatigue, remove some excuses by prepping my outfit the night before, picking out the jacket the night before. Eliminate any excuse that you know you will give yourself to get out that door. Okay. Learning to outsmart yourself. But again, it's just not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. You need to rewire your brain by continuing to choose better decisions, continuing to choose new decisions that aren't repeating the old patterns. Because, like, on a science level, you guys, if you repeat a habit, it makes it harder and harder to break that loop, because it's just strengthening this circuit in your brain that makes it easy for your body to do it. Now, to this, I also want to say our brain craves rewards. Using dopamine in your favor, every time you scroll, your brain is getting hit with dopamine, because it's like every new video and every new visual thing that is stimulating your mind, like, you are clicking this dopamine in your brain. So because your brain loves quick hits of dopamine, it loves a little reward, and scrolling is the reward because you're like discovering new things every 2 seconds. Give it good rewards to crave. So one of the things I talked about in another video that I made was, like, let's say you love to shop. I love to save my purchases, my big purchases, for completing big goals. Once I hit the halfway point of my 75 hard challenge, I treated myself to a new pair of gym shoes, because trust me, I have been wanting to get a new pair of gym shoes for so long now. I just knew if I just coupled the reward with achieving a goal, I will then train myself over time. My brain will look forward to completing tasks, to completing big goals, because it's going to look forward to the reward that I've trained myself to crave. So this is a way that you can use dopamine in your favor, and you can train yourself to crave progress. And on the flip side of that, the more that you just reach for junk food, throw on a binge show, and or are doom scrolling every night, this is training your brain the opposite. This is the reverse effect of dopamine, and it's gonna instead reward your brain with procrastination. It's going to train yourself to avoid the hard work, to avoid discipline. And that is why, even if we want so bad to change, it feels physically impossible, because in a way it kind of is. Learning how to hack your mind, your brain, is so crucial to breaking the loop, which brings me to the next point. The next point I want to talk about when it comes to changing your life is auditing the people around you. You hear this all the time. If I feel like someone is draining my energy in some way, I will refuse to spend time with them. This isn't about being better than anyone. It's about having self-respect for yourself and having boundaries. Because if you just let anybody into your life, into your routine, into your energy, and they have access to you, you're going to get a whole lot of mixed energies and things into your mind. There's no neutral connection. People are either going to improve your life or they're going to make your life worse. If you really think about it, how true is it? You are around someone who's either going to uplift you or bring you down. So you have to think clearly about the people that you're spending the most time with, especially. Are these people influencing me to become a better version of myself that I aspire to be? Or is it keeping me comfortable, and is it keeping me in this safe place that kind of keeps me in my fears? It's not about bad people. It's about aligning yourself with the energy and the frequency of the new version you're aspiring to become. Like, a lot of people underestimate the power of who you surround yourself with. Like, for example, I met this girl and I opened up to her about, let's say, this rate that I was charging a brand. And she goes, "Oh, you're charging that little?" She was like, "I thought you would be charging more." And I think to myself, well, you're right. Maybe I should be charging myself more. Immediately, I've seen an increase in value in the way that I feel about myself. And then it makes me realize too, like, well, am I charging too little? But on the flip side of that, let's say I meet a friend who's like, yeah, I just do work for free as long as they send me a free product, right? Then I start to think, am I overcharging? Do you see what I'm saying? Who you are around, it's going to influence the way that you perceive life, the way that you perceive opportunities, and or hold yourself back. Because in this scenario, if I'm around someone who thinks I'm undercharging and I'm around someone who thinks I'm overcharging, what do you think is going to happen down the line if I spend time with either person? On one side, I may start to raise my prices and I may start to raise my value and become this better skilled version of myself. Or on the flip side, maybe I start to see myself as I'm overdoing it. I'm being too loud. I'm being too bossy. I'm asking for too much. And then I start underselling and selling myself short, and maybe then becoming more timid in negotiations. You get my point. It is so important in ways that you don't even realize it affects you. Like, just being exposed to someone who thinks bigger is going to change the way that you see yourself and the way that you change your life. This made me feel small. This made me feel empowered. I start to just like make these little connections. There are some people who love to gossip, for example, and somebody came up to me once and kind of just gossiped about someone else that I hadn't even met. And I had eventually met this person at an event, and I had this weird energy towards them because I realized someone else had gossiped to me about them before I even met them. So my mind was already tainted about this person, and it just didn't feel good. And I feel like we're so influenced by gossip. What someone says about someone else says more about them than the person they're talking about. If you're constantly around someone who's complaining, that influences the way you see people, or even like the type of content you consume. It is sure entertaining and addicting sometimes to see which celebrity is dating who now, but like, really, what is that doing for your life? And also, like, let people be. Every one of these things are going to shape your behavior, and it's going to shape your environment. We want to keep a clean aura. How do we break the cycle, right? We already kind of talked about the small ways you can break these habits. There's more to this that I want to share. Just eliminating things that will serve as an obstacle is so important. Like, for me, I love snacks, right? I do love a sweet, but it's like swapping the sweets for a slightly smarter sweet. A banana is technically a sweet, right? If you put it with a little cinnamon in a yogurt bowl with some pecans and maybe a dark chocolate, like, that to me still feels like a sweet treat, versus going straight for look, I'm not here to tell you what to choose. Do what you want. The thought process is, how can I stay on track, satisfy my sweet tooth, but still choose a slightly better option, right? Something that's going to help me stay on track, because it's not just about in that moment, that short-term pleasure of having the cookie. One snack leads to another habit where I'm like, okay, well, I already had a cookie, so let me just spiral and just like, I'll just start tomorrow. And then you just keep delaying your progress. So it doesn't just stop at the one decision you made for the short-term satisfaction. It unlocks more procrastination of your goals, and it delays even more, and you just like self-sabotage yourself, and then you feel guilty about it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. Like, please, I've been there so many times. You just want to slowly start building self-trust. I think reframing your mindset on not seeing it as punishment, but as a reward to make better decisions is going to change the way that you show up for yourself, because anything that feels like punishment, we don't want to do. Like, if you view the gym as punishment, if you view choosing dark chocolate over a cake slice, like, then you're going to see it as punishment and you're just going to reject it altogether. But if you can learn to reframe the mindset about it and think of it as, this is supporting the next version of me that I'm becoming. This is supporting my nutritional goals. It's not about just like calories, but like, think about your health, right? This is what I tell myself. It's like, I want to make decisions now that my future self will thank me for. And eating a slightly healthier nutritional snack is going to support me in the future. So it's like, whatever way you want to see it, you are making decisions today for your future self. So if that helps you reframe your mindset, which I hope it does, it will make it that much easier to choose slightly better decisions. And look, I just want to remind you, discipline is not a gift that people are just born with. Like, I think a lot of us forget that discipline is a skill. And the good thing about skills is you can learn skills. And it's a skill, honestly, that you can build if you stuck to it for just 60 days. This challenge proved to me that I can truly change my habits and my routines in a 60-day period. Obsessed with the journey, and I'm like seeing the results in my face, in my body. Wow, I feel good. I get to wear like, strapless dresses without feeling self-conscious, because I would never have done that before. I was so insecure about my arms, about my shoulders. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so broad. But I used to blame it on genetics and all these things. It takes about 21 to 60 days to break a habit and build a new one. Remember that. Of course, this depends on the complexity of the habit you're trying to break. We're just generally speaking of swapping habits. So in the end, how you rewire your brain is by making slightly better choices, hacking your mindset, hacking yourself and your brain, and making it easier to choose better and harder to choose bad decisions. Surround yourself with people that match the person you are trying to become. If you don't have those people in your life, just spend time with yourself. But if you have to be around people, have your boundaries in advance. Like, your morning routine truly does start the night before. So, people laughed at me because they're like, oh, Krizia just wants to go home early and go to sleep. And I'm like, yeah, like, you all laugh now, but I'm like, I'm building the baddie I know I'm destined to become in the morning, because I'm going to be able to get up and go to the gym at 5 in the morning. So don't let external, opinions influence you. Like, be the boring one, be the one who's locked in and focused in your routine, and become her. Like, it's truly that simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. If you enjoyed this video and if you made it to the end, comment down below locked in, so I know that you're locked in too. Anyways, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.